Hi there, thank you for sending over your brand bootcamp notes. Now, I did love reading through your notes so far for what your launch plans are, and I absolutely love the domain name that you've got listed there as nailthebusinessidea.com. Such a great name, and one that really already gives such a kind of visual story to the brand that you want to create for this launch before we really even get into any of the details, which is pretty much what we're looking to create here. It's that visual story that really gives weight to your launch message. So before I dive into the world of colours for you, here is what I've pulled out from the notes that you sent over and what I'm basing this colour decision on for your launch brand. So some of the key themes that we've pulled out here were around kind of solutions, intuition, decision making, clarity, adventure, style, and elegance. Now, one thing that you did note towards the end of your brand notes was around kind of your background in engineering and intuition and psychic. Now, that to me just really kind of sprung out and made me think, I really need to know more about that combination of the kind of engineering background and the intuition psychic background, because that's quite an intriguing story that you can start to pull together from your personal background and bring that into your visual branding, which is going to help you stand out and really make a mark above and beyond other people that are out there doing a similar thing to you. So, keeping that in mind, moving into your core words, I've pulled these out as being decisive, intuitive, and clear. So these seem to be the three core words that really were the strongest out of the key themes and phrases that we're exploring. I mean, some of the phrases that have pulled out, they're looking into the future for clarity, they're having a process for achieving clarity, and a combination of different tools and experiences from engineering as well as psychic intuition backgrounds, because that really is quite an interesting story that you're pulling together there. So from these core words and from these themes, I've started to pull out these core colours for your brand. Now these are the core colour combinations that are most suited to your launch brand based on the kind of psychological connections that we all make with colours, which I've pulled out the key messages from your brand notes and then kind of translated this into your core colours. So there are, of course, many variations of colours that are out there. There's a huge spectrum in each of these. So first of all, I'm just going to give you a little overview of the kind of three core colours that we'll be looking at for your brand, and then we can take these a little bit further into your colour palettes and start to explore some of the kind of details and the finer shades and hues and tones of those colours. So the first colour is indigo. Now indigo is the colour of integrity, it's the colour of sincerity, it's also a very imaginative, creative, visionary colour that's very much associated with the kind of spiritual side of life, and also it's very much related to the kind of intuition and that side of working and life and business. So it is a very kind of intuitive, magical colour. Now the next colour is gold. Gold is sometimes a bit of a tricky colour to use in print and on screen because it can very much just sway into the yellows, but as you can see, the golds have a deeper, richer tone to them than just a standard yellow would have, and that reflects the kind of luxury, elegance, confidence feel. Now yellow is a colour of confidence, gold is also a colour of confidence, but whereas yellow is more kind of playful, gold is much more elegant and sophisticated. And finally, green. Now green is most associated with kind of balance and harmony, but it's also very much the colour of kind of logic and emotion, and it's really associated with growth and being practical, and it's quite a calming colour, which is why green rooms are green, I suppose, because they give that kind of calming influence on people. So those are the three core colours. Now with all of these colours, as you can see briefly on the screens that I've shared, there are various tones. Now as a general rule, The kind of deeper, lighter, softer, muted tones are more associated with high-level offerings, and the brighter, stronger, vivid tones are more associated with low-level offerings. Now that could be price comparison, or it could be the experience that you want to create. So within your brand and your launch, if you want to create a feeling of luxury and elegance, then you're going to want to stick with the more muted, softer tones of colours. If you want to kind of make it feel like it's more open to and accessible to everyone on all kind of budgets, then bright, vivid colours will do well for you. So I've just pulled out a few images whilst I was kind of looking into colours and the feeling and emotions behind the colours. These images just really stood out to me that seem to encapsulate everything that your brand is, kind of that feeling in your brand message from the notes that you sent over. And each of these images here do show a selection of the indigo, gold and green colours combined in various different hues and shades. So you can see how those three core colours can create a very different feeling depending on how we use them in your brand style. Which leads us very nicely into your kind of core colour palettes. Now I've pulled out some variations of those three core colours and split them up into 4 different varying colour palette options for you. Now these are just my recommendations of how those colours could work together, but there's nothing stopping you, of course, going in and mix and matching these around to create the kind of feeling that you really want in your brand. So looking at the top, we've got very much the kind of the greens and the indigos and a little touch of the kind of gold colour, which can sometimes look a little bit mustardy yellow, so we've got a softer yellow in there as well, and balancing it with a neutral kind of grey colour, because when you are using strong vivid colours, it's really good to have some neutral colours in your palette as well. So you can see in the second option we have less on the neutral side, although there is a deeper, darker indigo with a more royal blue indigo, and then 2 various shades of the green as well. So you can, of course, tweak and change the shades depending on what kind of dominance you want the message and the visual message to have. So whether you want indigo to really be the main message, the imagination, the creative, the vision, the spiritual side of things, then use a colour palette that has more of the indigos and the purple colours in. If you want a colour palette that evokes more of that luxury elegance feel, then start to bring in a few more gold tones. And again, if you really want to play the focus on the kind of balance, harmony, logical growth and being practical and calming influences, then bring in more of the green. Now my personal favourite is option D there at the bottom. I really love that colour palette. Although it has dropped the gold, we have still got that sense of the yellowy gold colours because we've got lighter versions of the green. So it really depends on that feeling that you want to create in your launch will dictate what selections of these colours you should really pull together. So I hope you found that useful and that you can start to have a play with these colours and really pull out the ones that are going to work best for your launch brand. And of course, if you would like to dig any deeper with this, if you'd like my help really defining the exact colours that you're going to use for your launch brand and looking at your fonts and logos, then just let me know and I will be happy to work with you a little bit deeper on this. So look forward to seeing what you create.